ESP, telepathy, a sixth sense. These are things that for many people are merely ideas of fiction. But then what does it mean when the CIA sinks 23 years and millions of dollars into researching and training spies to do just that? Welcome to Project Stargate. Hello and welcome to the Hoke Poke Pod, the show where we explore the strange and unusual.
Really? We're just two idiots poking stuff we don't understand.
So join us as we dare to ask the questions that nobody wants answered, such as, did Russia use telepathic spies to gather intel during the Cold War?
Can you kill someone with your mind?
And is America really in the business of militarizing the paranormal? I'm Erica.
I'm Emily.
And are you ready to start the podcast, Em?
Yes?
Oh, great. You read my mind.
I was wondering where that was going. I feel like it's important to first and foremost say that we are doing this session remotely, and I have Erica on a little screen. We're suburbs apart, and it's very odd to be doing this in different locations.
I know, we're back in lockdown. It's also like 5 weeks between our last recording, so it's, yeah, for the final episode of the season, it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. But I guess it's a fitting topic for doing this remotely.
I know.
Because we are talking about
remote viewing. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, which is kind of, I guess, it's in the lines of ESP, telepathy, mind reading, essentially. And I actually had an idea for this episode. I thought we could actually do some user engagement, like listener participation, and we could just record this episode telepathically and just kind of release the 40 minutes of white noise and let the listeners use their own ESP abilities to figure out what this episode's about.
You know what? That could be a part 2.
Yeah, we could release it as a bonus episode.
I think you're onto something there. And for anyone who doesn't know, ESP stands for extrasensory perception. So it's like psychic abilities, basically. It includes telepathy, telekinesis, remote viewing, retrocognition, and medium share. So
what was that last one?
Medium share?
Medium share. Like, is that like sharing, like linking minds?
I'm going to say yes. It's possible that it was a typo and it's something else.
They also have a lot of like technical terms for this, I suppose, like medical terms, as medical as it can get, which I found one was psychotronics.
Ooh.
Which is very fancy sounding. And then anomalous cognition was one that kind of the bureaucrats were using when referring to, I guess we'll just call it ESP.
Yeah, I think ESP is quite all-encompassing, and I think there's different abilities involved. It's actually not officially recognized by science. A lot of people don't believe it exists, but it is psychic
I'm one
abilities.
of those people.
Yeah. Of course, the skeptic.
Okay, no. I'll say I don't believe in like mind reading and ESP and that more extreme aspect of it. But I do believe that some people are more perceptive to things that are subliminal, like whether that be other people's feelings or like sort of vibes in the air, like tension, stuff like that. So yeah, I do believe that some people can pick up on tones and feelings when others can't. I don't know if I would stretch that as far as ESP though.
What is psychic abilities to you? Like, what do you think when someone says, I'm a psychic?
When someone says I'm a psychic, I think of, I can see the spirit of your dead mother and she's telling you that the pearls are hidden under the couch. Or that opening scene in Ghostbusters where he's like reading the cards. Like, that's what I think of when I think of telepathy. Very extreme, very campy, kind of over the top.
In my research, apparently that opening scene of Ghostbusters is not far from the truth where he's going through the cards. Those are actually used.
Yeah. And a little kind of like a preview. We're going to be doing something like that as well. Not with the electric shocks or the shapes, but we're going to dip our toes into a little bit of this ESP stuff ourselves.
I think because ESP is not under the 5 senses, and this is what someone said in a podcast I listened to, it's like, it's not controllable and science would have a hard time detecting it because it's not within what we can smell, taste, feel. It's something beyond that.
Well, I guess that's, the whole definition of it. It's an extra sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it is outside of our sensory understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, I mean, I think of all the topics we've covered, this is probably one I'm going to be a little bit more lenient towards, just because I feel like, I mean, I still don't believe in in people being able to, like, you know, cheat off tests using this.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there is something about instinct and feeling that we haven't fully understood. I feel like those are really powerful and often overlooked scientifically, and I think that could account for a lot of what people are talking about when they talk about ESP.
That's true. That's true. One particular point of ESP that we are looking at today is remote viewing, which is where one is able to perceive or view events happening potentially miles away.
And this is where the sort of, I guess, the bureaucracy political aspect of it comes into it.
Yes.
Which is, I think, when it gets, I think this, for me, this is when it gets really interesting and starts to kind of cross that line between fun fringe science and into something a bit more serious.
Welcome, Project Stargate.
What a name, huh?
I know, which was a project in the 1970s by the CIA, which basically brought in people to learn / be trained in psychic abilities to spy on the Soviets.
Yeah, they more or less thought that the Russians were like doing this to them, and they were like, well, if the Russians are using psychics, we should be using psychics. And this wasn't just the 70s, this went for 23 years. This only shut down in the 90s.
And you know what? One of the facts I came across was that more than 20 psychics were employed over those years, which I would have thought it was more, but maybe they fire.
That's not that many. I feel like for like a good science, you would need, I don't know how many psychics are willing to work for the CIA.
Maybe a lot got fired. You know what? It's probably like a huge turnover rate. There's like auditions to be a spy.
You know what?
Psychic.
A lot probably got swooped up by the Russians. If the Russians were onto the psychic spies first, they probably went in and took up all the good psychics, and the Americans were left with the kind of B-grade psychics.
The B-grade psychics. It's a sad time when you're a B-grade psychic.
That's a rough time. But hey, you might get a job at the CIA, so things are looking up.
Yeah. But I found out that some of them actually ended up in psychiatric hospitals. Others lost the plot and became obsessed with crop circles and aliens.
Okay. Do you think that was as a result of their work for the CIA? Or do you think that was kind of the trajectory they were on already?
I think, well, it depends how grueling this was. It drove them mad. Like, what did they do to them?
And this is the thing. And this is when we talk about Project Stargate, which is obviously very controversial because the CIA spent millions of dollars investing in psychic powers. Yeah. But the CIA is not sort of unknown for doing super shady shit like this. I mean, look at MK Ultra Project, where they were giving people like hallucinogenics and psychedelics as a forms of getting information out of them. Like, I super don't put it past the CIA to have been torturing mentally these psychics in order to try to get better results. So if some of them say they end up in psychiatric hospitals, I actually believe that. And I would think the CIA would do that. Yeah.
But apparently some of these sessions actually worked, and they found like hostages, and they found like, I can't remember what else they found. Wait, let me check my notes.
Spy information. Well, it's probably
they
all
found spy information.
Covered up now, right? Yeah, if it's spy stuff, they wouldn't want the general public knowing about it.
No, it was highly, highly classified. They called it one hell of a cheap radar system is by using psychics.
I mean, that's true. I don't, like, what is the legitimacy of this information they found? And also, you know, there's that old anecdote about, like, if you put infinite amount of monkeys on an infinite amount of typewriters, eventually one of them will write Shakespeare. If you get like an infinite amount of psychics to guess an infinite amount of information, then surely sometimes they're going to be correct on accident, right?
They actually talked about this in the podcast I listened to, and they called it the noise to signal ratio, which is, I think, when, if you're a psychic person and you're trying to find, let's say, a place in your mind, sometimes it's like there's a signal and then noise can intercut and it confuses it. So it's like that's why when they go through training, they have to get feedback for it to know if they were right or not, because it helps inform them for the next time that they remote view. It's very interesting.
Okay, so I guess that's kind of like any radio or satellite thing where you have to sort of figure out the bugs before you can get a perfect score. Okay, so that sounds feasible. I mean, where do you stand on psychics? We haven't addressed that. Are you gung-ho? Are you, like, skeptical?
I think, oh no, I'm definitely not skeptical. I definitely think psychics are real. And
Yeah.
I think I reckon there's different levels. I think some people have really good spidey senses, but probably couldn't do something like remote viewing, just like when we were talking about astral projecting. Like, I don't think everyone could do that. But then other people, like there's this guy who was attached to the project. I think it happened because of him pretty much. His name was Eno Swan. And apparently all of the sessions they did with him, he was like spot on, where they'd send someone off. No one would know where that person went, and they would ask him to like let them know where they were in his mind, and he would get it right like every time, with down to like specific details, and no one could explain that. So I think there's like,
well, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And apparently, like, what was the ratio? I can't remember. But to get stuff like that right, I think they do these drills where you have to guess, like, not guess, but you have to figure out like 20 things within this little drill. And to get that right, it's like 1 in a billion to get them all right.
Just to guess it, like to guess it, to get it right, unless you're using psychic abilities.
Yeah. But
and I assume his score was pretty good.
I'd imagine so. I think a lot of psychics don't get it right a lot of the time, and it's probably that noise to signal ratio. But it's again, ESP is not something that's controllable, so it's hard to just kind of like corner and be like, aha, this is exactly what it is. It's just like very elusive. Let's say elusive.
Elusive's good. I like elusive. Okay, let's step out of the debate about whether this is real or not. Let's just assume it's real and it works. Then what is the efficacy of using psychics like to fight your cold wars? Like, A, if they have that much like likelihood of being wrong.
Yeah.
But also, is it kind of like cheating? I don't know, it kind of feels like cheating to me.
I know. Well, yeah, I guess there is a percentage that was wrong, but obviously they poured in all this money to it, so there was a percentage that was correct. I guess.
True, but I don't know if the US government pouring money into stuff is an indication of it being correct. Like, they have a track record of being pretty bad at that.
I mean, that's very true. And it wasn't always correct. I forgot the point. What was your original question?
Like, is it like ethical to use psychics to like hunt down? I mean, because I was reading some accounts by the CIA and they were using psychics. The second component of this was in identifying targets, as they called them. And then I have this quote from like the second stage of this remote viewing Project Stargate, was that they would describe targets and then in written reports that would be forwarded for evaluation and, if warranted, action on the target. Which sounds like almost certainly these targets were getting arrested, if not killed, based on a psychic's kind of... And I'm not saying that the psychic was wrong, even if I don't believe in that. Like, they could have gotten it right through other means or luck or whatever it is. But that just feels like a crazy, crazy way to condemn somebody.
That's true. I guess...
Military speaking.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we don't know what they did after that. Hopefully not torture or something. God.
I mean, they almost certainly did. They almost certainly... Okay, if I was a spy in the Cold War, like, number one, cool. But number two, if I got caught and then I was like, oh, how did you catch me? Because I'm Russian in this situation. And they were like, we used psychics to catch you. I would feel so cheated. I would be like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to like armor myself against psychics?
I mean, you'd have to like, no, there's nothing you could do.
There's nothing you can do. Is there like psychic training you can do to like block your signal?
Oh, like a little bubble of like safety or something around you so that you're like undetectable.
Yeah, like if they're training... Okay, so for instance, if they're training psychics to hunt me down and I have like my local psychic, could I be like, I want you to send your psychic powers on like hiding my psychic
Mhm.
energy? Like, was it just psychic warfare, ESP warfare?
What if
back
it
and
cancels
forth?
each other out and then you end up with no psychic powers for either of you?
True.
There's just nothing left.
True. I mean, we can take this one step further though. So, like, quite famously, Ronald Reagan, ex-president of the United States, consulted a astrologist for a lot of his political decisions. And that to me, like, I know Europeans on astrology are a little more skeptical than they are for this stuff, but that to me seems just as shady. Like, I don't want the president of the United States consulting a like horoscope about whether or not he should do X, Y,
Oh my
Z.
God, I hope to God that he's not. Even though that was Ronald Reagan.
He was. It's true. It's like very well documented. And Ronald Reagan didn't make good choices as a president. And I'm just thinking if these presidents are using psychics, are using like horoscopes to dictate political and military strategy, that's terrifying.
Oh my God. Well, another thing during this project, another thing that they trained people with ESP abilities, if they had like telekinesis abilities, was to like I don't know if it worked, but it was like to stop the hearts of people, and then it's like an undetectable murder using your mind. It's like 11 from Stranger Things.
What the fuck? Like, I'm just gonna use my psychic powers to stop your heart from beating. That's so scary. I didn't like look that up, and now I'm scared. Like, it's one thing to be hunted down by a psychic being like, she's in this location.
Yeah.
It's another thing for a psychic just to be like, I'm gonna insta-kill you from like 3 countries away.
And it's like they wouldn't be able to figure out who it was. It's a genius.
Of course not.
A genius way, but also
totally undetectable.
Just very terrifying.
And also, even if they did figure out who it was, like even if the psychic said, hey, it was me, I killed this person, I don't think there's any court in the world that is going to like convict someone based on a psychic murder.
Yeah, no. Like a lot of people don't believe that any of this is real. So I don't know. What would skeptics think of the Stargate project? Well, I guess it's a giant waste of money.
Yeah, that's more or less my thinking of it. I think, like, look, there are a few crazier times in kind of a secret agent time as obviously the Cold War. And to me, the Stargate project was not a surprise when I first heard about it. Like, this feels kind of straight out of the Cold War. Of course, they were investing money into stuff like this, which I think is ridiculous. Like, okay, to me as a skeptic, it's one thing when a bunch of people are using it as a hobby or as like this interesting like fringe science where they can explore it and talk about it and go to conventions and try it out and stuff. But when it enters that political sphere, that to me is a whole other level where I just think we need to take a step back. I mean, it was the 70s. It's a bit late for this. But we need to take a step back and be like, is this really what we are spending all these resources on doing?
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. And I think worse than it being crazy is that it's super not surprising. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in 50 years, another thing is leaked being like, oh, in the 2010s, the government was trying to research, like, levitation.
Oh, what a good idea.
That to me feels...
Oh my God, I bet they are. Mark your words.
Like, they 100%
They
are.
probably are. That would be very cool. Like,
they 100%
using
are.
levitation as a form of transportation to save money.
Like, okay, it's a lot of fun. I think this Project Stargate is a lot of fun to talk about and a lot of fun to look into because it's in the past.
Yeah.
But if I found out that the CIA was doing that now, I would be... I mean, not that we're American, but I would be pretty pissed off on behalf of America. That's where the CIA's money is going. Because it's just so, like, unbased in science. And that's okay when it's not the government doing it.
Yeah.
And when you're not, like, applying it medically or any of those things where it crosses that kind of ethical boundary, go for it. It's a lot of fun. I love it. Do your thing. But that's separate. That's too much for me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's definitely, I agree that it was a bit shady, and I don't think people with psychic abilities should have been harbored in that way.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, like, did like these psychics, like, they sounded like they had a bad time
I
if they're all
know.
institutionalized after.
Oh, I'd love like a
So it clearly
doco.
wasn't doing any good for them.
I'd love like a doco
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
there probably is one out
Yeah.
there, but we want like a high quality one.
Yeah.
Well, and this is also the thing, like, so Project Stargate was shut down in 1995, I believe, in the mid-90s regardless.
Mm.
And there are a few different accounts as to why that was. Some people say it was because they just ran out of funding. Other people say it got shut down because CIA were embarrassed about it.
Mm.
But if the CIA was embarrassed about it, which seems like a likely thing,
Mm.
like they wouldn't want these people who had been working on this project to go out and then tell people about it.
Yeah.
And so if the easier thing to, like, now I'm getting conspiratorial, but if the easier thing to do is to make these psychics like seem insane or to
Yeah.
like mess them up, then that would be the easiest thing to do.
That's true, actually. It's like the evidence has been tampered with kind of thing.
Yeah, and just by having Project Stargate be a real thing that existed, it totally, I think, invalidates any claims that the CIA are going to make about, oh no, we would treat all our ex-employees wonderfully and we wouldn't do that shady shit. Because
Mm.
it's like, well, you were like spending millions of dollars on psychic spying. So it's kind of, I'm not going to put anything past it now.
That's true. And I guess with this episode and talking about remote viewing,
Yeah.
because remote viewing is like kind of moving your conscious, whereas in our previous episode, astral projection was about moving your spirit and your soul. But were we going to try something in this episode? Were we going to do...
We were going to try something. Now, based on and go back and listen to our astral projection episode, because it's kind of on a tangent. It's not the same thing, but it is related.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly had more success attempting to astral project. As in you tried it once and your subconscious was just like, nope.
Not happening.
Out, not doing it. Which you turned out was a good idea because it turned out theoretically to be very dangerous. This much safer because theoretically you're just sending your consciousness, not your soul or spirit or anything. And so we thought we could do a little demo.
Yes. And I'm just thinking, like, there's been lots of times where I've predicted something and it's happened, or I've just gotten a feeling about something and it's happened. And it's...
I mean, certainly all the time we've been to like haunted or supernatural locations, you do have a strong reaction.
Yeah.
So I think if anyone was to be like susceptible to that kind of sixth sense stuff, it would be you.
Yeah. Or like there would just be things where and it still happens now where I'm like, I just have a feeling that this is going to go this way. And it might just be because I'm able to predict it based on past events but I don't know. I just get like a feeling and then it happens and I'm like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Just like either something at work.
Well, see, even from a skeptical perspective, I do believe that that's a possibility. Maybe you are just more like whether it's subconscious or conscious, you could just be picking up on these tiny, like minuscule clues and patterns that other people don't. And that could account for those gut feelings and stuff. So I do actually believe that there is some truth to that. Yeah. Spidey sense, as it were.
Yeah. I'm by no means psychic, FYI. But we can test this out now.
Maybe we're gonna find out. So I looked into the way the CIA first did it in Project Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
And they had these two components. Like I said, the second component was targeting people, where you would figure out stuff about a person.
Yep.
We're not going to do that. We're going to start at the beginning with the first component.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as quoted, is a remote viewer is asked to visualize a place, location, or object being viewed by a beacon or sender. So I will be the beacon or sender, and I will look at a place, location, or object, focus on it, concentrate, and you, the maybe psychic, will remote view my energy, my consciousness. I'm like the link. So you're going to see what I see.
Okay.
Essentially.
Through a screen.
And I'm actually taking this from the same source.
Trial by fire.
Well, no, because I looked at, apparently in the CIA, the first way they did it was they looked at pictures from the National Geographic.
Oh.
And thank goodness the National Geographic's been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Because I have up on the screen 5, and they started with 5 images from the National Geographic.
Okay.
Randomly selected from this website.
Okay.
So I have no bias in these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So this is exactly like they would do it. I'm going to look at these pictures, focus on them, and you're going to try to intuit what they are. And for those listening, these will be posted on the website and Instagram too, so you can see how correct M is doing.
Oh God.
They also said they started off describing like feelings about the picture, colors, shapes, and then got more specific.
Oh, God.
So
Okay.
you don't need to like hit it off the bat straight away.
Okay.
But let's give this a go. So I'm looking at the first picture, and I'm just gonna like.
Do I just watch you?
And when you're ready, take your time.
Okay.
You can close your eyes. I think you can do whatever you want. Visualize me visualizing the image. Try to see through my eyes.
All right.
And start describing feelings or shapes or anything that you get, and I'll kind of give you a hot and cold.
This is making me respect psychics a lot, by the way. Not
you
that
might
I
hit
didn't
these
already.
Out of the park. Who knows?
Okay. I can't see your eyes. Move your head. Okay.
I don't think you're supposed to see me at all, because I think we would theoretically be in different rooms.
Okay.
So I think you have to close your eyes and you have to like intuit what I'm seeing.
All right. My eyes are closed. Is there water in the picture? No.
I'm not fucking kidding. That is so much water in this picture. There's I'm a bit spooked now. There's so much water in this picture.
Is there some grass?
No grass, but there's water.
Is there a tree?
No tree. Going any further. I feel like I shouldn't have told you that there was water.
Yeah, no.
Skewed the results. Okay, you did really, really good.
Let me think again.
Maybe try some like colors.
I'm seeing blue.
Yeah, well, it's water. Yeah, that's kind of a freebie.
Okay. Is this picture like underwater?
Not quite. Look, you got the water bit.
No.
I will show you.
All right.
The water. The picture of the water. Kind of very clumsily.
Oh God, I can't see that.
Okay. I'll just send them through to you.
Oh well, I cannot see that.
I certainly have a dog in the studio. So
I could not.
You're panting.
You'll just have to send it to me.
Alice. Okay, the second image.
Was it like a sunset?
It was like a guy standing in
sunset,
a water pond with some like luminous blue fungi in the water. I mean, you got water straight off the bat. Like, okay, you didn't get the rest, but jokes aside, that was kind of a crazy start. If that was the first picture, I'm excited to see how you go. Okay, clear your mind, get the water out of your mind, new picture, new fresh. I'm just going to focus on this picture, and you get what you get.
Okay. Is there an animal in it?
Oh. Yeah, I'm actually kind of getting a bit spooked. This is really crazy.
I don't. I'm just trying to like think about what kind of animal.
Okay, you can 100% hear the dog. Don't get alarmed, fellas.
Is it some kind of fluffy animal?
Yeah, you can. Like, I don't think technically it's fluffy, but they certainly look fluffy.
For some reason, a panda's coming to mind, but like.
Ooh, okay, it's not a panda, but I'm gonna give it to you because you got the color scheme spot on, and it was an animal like straight out of it. They're little penguins chomping at the camera.
Yeah, black and white. I saw like
black
something
and
black
white.
and white.
You got animals in black and white. This is so weird. Okay, third image. Now shake this from your mind. Shake this. This one, I feel like. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. All right, the third image. Let's go.
I'm seeing more sky in this one. Is there more sky?
Yeah, there's more sky.
Okay. Is there trees?
Yeah. There's a tree.
I mean, it's very basic to have trees in a nature picture.
Okay, no, but you went water for the first one. First thing you said was water. Then the first thing you said was animal. And the first thing you said was sky and tree. Like, these have been 3 out of 3. Okay, the details get a bit blurred. But, like, I'm not shitting you. This is going way more successfully than I thought it would.
Trees. I'm seeing like some kind of redwood forest or something.
Yeah, it's foresty. Yeah,
like they're like tall trees.
Kind of trees they are, but they are forest.
Like they're not like the really tall ones.
No, I mean they're kind of tall.
No,
average trees. Look, this is pretty good. I'll give you one more thing to say about the picture because there's a few things happening in the picture. I'll give you a clue.
There's a few things happening.
Yeah.
They're mounds of dirt.
Kind of. There are kind of mounds of dirt. They're like grassy dirt tufts in this picture. This is. I'm gonna send these pictures to you after because this is.
I'm feeling like this is in a forest, but
All right, shake this from your mind.
Okay.
Fourth image.
Oh, okay,
Fourth
okay.
Image. You did pretty good.
Okay.
It was a little house in like a forest on some.
Oh, a house.
That was
I didn't see a house.
Yeah, a little house in like a misty forest. Oh, that's okay. So then maybe I'm not focusing on the right things.
I did feel like mist though.
Oh, okay. This is like 3 out of 3 so far, so I'm feeling so good about this. Okay.
It's probably My psychic abilities are like starting to wane now. Okay, all right, let me think. There's some kind of food in this?
There's no food. No.
No food?
No food. No food. That's okay. Look, 3 out of 3. You're allowed to have one dud, but go again.
Is there a hill?
No.
I think it's gone.
It's all right. A little white fluffy owl was the picture in the snow.
Oh, yeah, nah.
Okay, that's right. We got one more. Our final image.
I saw a lemon. I saw a lemon in my
Ooh,
mind, which doesn't really translate to an owl. So
It doesn't. That's okay. One dud is fine. Final image. Let's see if you can smash it out of the park. I'm clearing in my mind.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the picture.
Is there sand?
There's not sand. No.
Oh, I feel like maybe the weather's a bit like it's not like a clear sky.
Yeah, there's a lot of fog.
Oh, okay. I was right about that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, you're good. You're good. It's not clear.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I was feeling a bit dark and stormy, but fog works too. Is there a road?
There's not a road, no.
Really wanted there to be a road. I feel like there's more trees in this one.
Yeah, trees. There are trees.
I don't know what the focus of it is though. Could be an animal.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the focus of it and see if you can tune into that.
It's a nothing. It's nothing.
It's a nothing. Okay, look,
it's
a
void.
person. It's a person in the kind of baobab tree forest. It's a very nice picture. But look, 3 out of 5 is like a 60% success rate. That is okay, and those first 3 were uncanny, especially the penguin picture. That was like hit after hit. I was not expecting you to get anything close at all, but this was like very, very impressive.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
I feel like it would be fun.
Maybe I'm convinced.
Oh, excellent. Now I'm feeling like it would be fun to be trained as a psychic, and now I kind of want to be. This is my evidence, so I should get hired now.
Yeah, we'll send this in as your like CV. I feel like 100% if you could get trained as a psychic, that would be a really fun thing to do. Like, I don't think they'd accept people who don't believe in it. I'm always hindered by my inability to believe. I was like, I'll do it with you. Let's take a class. I'm sure there are classes online about how to hone your psychic ability.
Can I bring up a picture and then we'll try it with you?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to close these pictures so I don't get distracted. Yes. Let me try. Okay.
This is not in a National Geographic image at all.
That's right. Just bring up a picture, random picture, anything at all.
Okay. Right. I am looking at the picture.
Okay. I'm focusing. I'm seeing blue.
Keep going.
Okay, that doesn't sound successful. I'm seeing... Okay. I'm seeing blue. I'm seeing an object, like a household object.
No.
Oh, fuck. Okay, but it has been well proven I've got no psychic abilities. What was it?
It was a rainforest with like a branch.
Yeah, no, I was fucking miles off. I was thinking of like a telephone on a table.
I like that. Maybe it's like phone a psychic. I don't know. You're trying to pick up the telephone.
There's a psychic out there with a blue phone on a table waiting for a call.
Oh my God. I have the best question. If you were a psychic and you needed a psychic's opinion, do you even need to call them or do you just use telepathic?
Oh, that's true.
Questioning.
Like it's like the bat signal. Like you just project, I need help into the sky and the psychics ping in on it. Like bing, bing, one of us is needed.
Yeah.
I do like that idea. That sounds nice. It's like a nice aspect of psychic.
It's like a help
ability.
signal.
But I mean, okay, there is that, like, there is that idea that you can sense when your friends or family need help. Like, even if you haven't talked to them or, like, seen them in days. You get just, like, a feeling something's off. And then, once again, I think this comes back more into people have this intuition and innate ability to read these tiny, minuscule cues and everything, I guess.
That's true.
And so, to me, that is kind of a part of this, the psychic world, psychic realm.
Right. Is that your verdict?
But my verdict is, look, I don't believe people are able to give people heart attacks remotely, as terrifying as that is. And I don't believe you're able to kind of spy on the Russians with your psychic abilities. But I do believe some people have a very sort of innate ability to pick up on other people's cues, and that can seem psychic and we don't 100% have an explanation for that. We just have this really strong ingrown ability to feel things, patterns and tiny things that are off. So yeah, I think psychic, no. Maybe like gut feeling, yes. I do believe in gut feeling. Yeah, what about you?
I think the gut feeling and being psychic are two different things. I definitely think some people have ESP skills and talents and they're able to see things that other people cannot. I just think there's too many evidential cases where it's been correct and no one can explain it, which I love that. Like, gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
Do you think that the CIA was successfully using those people as
I mean, it's interesting. I'm not psychic, but we got, 60% on this.
That was fucking crazy. I'm actually kind of weirded out. But like that was, I think that was insane. It was your first three off the bat. You got the first thing right.
Yeah, actually.
Nuts. That could have been anything.
That's true. You did say National Geographic, so I was like, it's probably something to do with nature.
True. But then that's what the CIA, I'm just using the CIA model.
But each one, definitely that's what came to the forefront. I think the penguin one was probably most on point with the black and white that I saw.
That was impressive. Yeah, you got black and white, fluffy animals.
I should have said black and white. But yes, I think that's my verdict. I think it's all real and I want to be trained.
Okay, you have rejected every time we've done this podcast.
Cha-ching.
I have asked you, would you accept a ride by aliens? Would you accept going into the deep ocean, etc., etc.? And you've always said no.
Yeah.
Would you accept a job offer by the CIA as a psychic spy if they were willing to train you up and stuff?
Yes, as long as I don't get tortured or driven mad, or my life ruined. I need that in writing.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good contract point.
Yeah.
I couldn't guarantee they'd follow it, but okay, that's one we found. We found the thing that you're down to do.
So down.
I love that.
So down to learn how to properly remote view. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But excellent.
Let's do it. Let's get you lessons, and then for season 2, we'll be back with full psychic.
I can't wait. This has been season 1 of the Hoke Poke Pod. I'm Emily.
And I'm Erica.
We'll see you next time.
You have reached the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like what you've heard, you could download us, leave a review, comment, and rate and subscribe and all that stuff.
Do all of that and visit our website, thehokepokepod.com.au. We also have an Instagram page, the hokepokepod, and you can email us, thehokepokepod@gmail.com. I know that's a mouthful, but you can do it.
Yeah, we've got a Facebook as well, but if you just Google the Hoke Poke Pod, you'll find us. The best thing you can do, though, is share it. Tell everyone. Get the word out about this spooky little podcast, especially as we take a little break and eventually come back for season 2. Let us know actually what you want us to talk about. Send us suggestions or things that have happened to you, and we'll look into them.
We have very open minds about it. And thank you to...
Well, half of us have.
True. Might take some convincing, but we'd also like to thank our editor, Rob, who has been amazing throughout this entire season.
Just the best. We love you, Rob. And also Giamo, who's been in charge of all our graphics and icons. He's a fabulous artist, and he did us a huge solid by making all of those. And I guess that's it. That's the credits.
That's it. That's the credits. You're welcome.
They should do that at the end of all the movies. That's the credits. Bye. See ya.
Bye.